We are back, and now it's time to wrap this week up, or start this week, depending on how you're watching this, with
As far as I'm concerned, this is episode 1. Part
NFL
1.
free agency. So, C's, what did we learn this week?
Well, we've learned way too damn much. All right, listen. The NFL free agency period starts off with one of the biggest cap spikes we have seen in the last decade or so. So teams now had $279 million in their cap, right? So what does that mean for the players? Yeah,
what was it before?
Oh, my goodness. I don't have that number right in front of me. Let's see. The 2024 cap in the NFL was
255.
255. So it went up quite a bit to 279. I mean, that's not insignificant. So what this means for a lot of players is that they're going to get big paydays in what is considered a not great free agency class. So this is very similar to what we've seen whenever the NBA had that big spike, where we saw a lot of mediocre players get really big fucking contracts. Well, the NFL finally
don't forget, Kevin Durant also went to the Warriors at the same time. It was like two shotgun blasts to the competitive balance.
Yeah, but we didn't get an equivalent of that in free agency, unfortunately.
Are you sure?
That would have been great. But Myles Garrett decided to stay with Cleveland.
Well, I was going to.
But she had $40 million reasons to stay. But yeah, so there's a lot to get to. So the way we're going to break this down is we're going to start off pretty selfishly with our teams, and then move on to some of the big names, some of the names you may know, and some of the more important moves that happen in free agency. So we're going to just take things from the top. We're going to start with the Licks champions. They didn't do a whole ton, but they did lose a whole lot from their team. So if you didn't know, the Philadelphia Eagles lost significant amount of players. If he wasn't informed, the Eagles lost a lot of players in free agency or in trade or through cuts. So we're just going to go ahead and get started with the big names. All right. They traded away their starting safety, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, for what is considered one of the worst offensive linemen on one of the worst offensive lines in the NFL. Now, he is a former Aggie, Kenyon Green, former first-round pick. So what does that say? Well, he's probably hot dog water in terms of a player. If you have to say, well, he was a former first-round pick. So a lot of the reasoning that I've seen is a lot of safeties who are in his class, in his tier or below, are getting $15 million a year right now in free agency. He was making $9 million a year. He just signed this past offseason. There's this thought where, like, hey, I'm the starting safety of a Super Bowl winning team. He might ask for a raise. And he's a very volatile personality. If you follow the Eagles or you follow C.J. Gardner-Johnson's career, it's great when that volatile personality is on your side and getting under the skin of other players. Terrible when that player decides to turn that energy on its head and direct it right at you. So that's some of the reasoning that I've seen for why they made this move. I don't agree with it. I hate it. Also, they had this weird little petty drama between him and Darius Slay. For those who may wonder, like, whose side am I on? C.J. Gardner's, because Slay, his personality just rubs me the wrong way, just way too often. So there's that. But speaking of Slay,
was this the Jalen Hurts diss? Who had the diss of Jay? Or it wasn't even like, I don't know.
Well, it wasn't even a diss. It was a.
Was these two guys?
Sort of. So Darius Slay this past offseason asked about who he thinks are the elite quarterbacks. Leaves Jalen Hurts off that list. You know, the guy who won Super Bowl MVP and brought him his first ever Super Bowl ring. Secondly, Darius Slay
on this podcast, when they were ranking quarterbacks, they didn't say Dak anywhere.
Hey man, it happens, right? But those things get brought up. Those things do get noticed. Like, a lot of these players just don't have like situational awareness, especially when they're in front of a mic. Now, the next thing that had them beefing was C.J. Gardner-Johnson took umbrage with Darius Slay talking about who the next leader in the locker room is going to be when he's gone in terms of defensive backs. Did not bring up CJ Gardner's name at all. He said they either need to get a veteran in the room or it's going to be Reed Blankenship. No mention of CJ. CJ took umbrage with that because he considers himself a leader. But yeah, Slay, he's gone now. He's cut. Is a Pittsburgh Steeler. We lose James Bradbury.
I didn't even see
sort
that
of.
sign.
Yeah, but CJ, no, not CJ. James Bradbury didn't play at all last season. Not really a loss. The two big losses, though, in terms of the money, Josh Sweat signs for, I believe, a 4-year, $76 million deal with the Arizona Cardinals. That is that's a lot of. It makes sense because of who his defense or who his head coach is. Right,
there was a lot of that. It seemed like.
Yeah, and Josh Sweat
following guys.
Oh yeah, you got it. You know you're gonna follow the money, but you're also gonna go with people that you're comfortable with, right? Josh Sweat, who in his entire career has only had one double-digit sack season, is very on again, off again as a pass rusher. The highs are great. The lows, I mean, you'll notice those lows. So very odd that he got so much money. But again, cap spike. Everybody's contract's going to be inflated for the most part. Next name, and this is the biggest shocker, is Milton Williams, who has never been a starter until this season. Never played 50% of the snaps ever in a full season.
Desperate team, though. That's y'all knew it was going to happen because of desperate team.
Oh, for sure. I just don't think anybody that was plugged into what his market was going to be thought that he was going to sign for 4 years, $104 million. I think the number in their heads were like, oh yeah, he's going to sign 4 years, $85 million. The Patriots, they fell in love. The biggest rule in free agency that I think every team should follow is don't fall in love with a guy. Just don't do it. Just you got to be as objective as possible. But hey, great for him.
Yeah, you're right. Jerry and Steven do it all the time. It's produced a lot of champions.
No, he does get $51 million guaranteed. So here's the big news with Milton Williams. Guys, he is the third highest paid defensive tackle on the market. The defensive tackle market is going to be fucked because of this. For guys who actually are worth, are deserving of that number based on what they've done and not based on projections going forward. So there is that. And who else? Oh, we're talking moves that they've made. They re-signed Zach Bond. Great move. The only move they'll probably make. Worth noting. And they did just add another former first-round pick, A.J. Dillon, to a 1-year contract.
Did you get the where's the meme? Shit, where?
Oh man, you sent it to me, but I don't have it saved.
You got it.
Yeah. So AJ Dillon, was hurt all last year with a neck injury. Former first-round pick. He's a power back. Great, whatever. I don't expect him to do too much on a team that has Saquon Barkley. Now, Kenyon Green, the acquisition mentioned earlier, he is essentially on a prove-it deal. He is entering his 4th year.
And what is Kenyon Green again?
A guard out of Texas A&M.
What round was he drafted?
First round. They are turbo dog shit. That is true, especially for him, man. Especially for that guy.
I love this tweet. Just when was it actually made? In 24?
About a year ago. Yeah.
Was it just? It feels like this has been a bigger part of the ether than that. But I guess it is. It just nails it.
It is a bigger part of the ether. I just don't think anybody's actually put it out there in a way where it went viral like that.
I mean, now it has been written, and so it will be.
Beautiful. Now, next thing to know about the Eagles, they re-signed Ben Van Sumeren, who, weirdly enough, we're talking about Travis Hunter being a two-way player. Ben Van Sumeren, actual two-way player, sort of, is a linebacker that played fullback and played special teams. So he played on all 3 phases of the field. Didn't see a lot of snaps on either one. Oh, yeah, 100%. But hey, whatever. The Eagles also lost Oren Burks, the linebacker that filled in for Nakobe Dean. So all in all, I count about 7 players on the defense that the Eagles have lost this offseason. That is a lot of turnover for a team that wants to repeat. They're going to have to do it through fucking the draft and through the margins of the team.
You know, you got to do it as a wild card. You got to do it as a wild card. You know the rules. You're not allowed to have it for 2 years.
You're right.
You're right. You got to be a wild card.
This means Washington's going to win.
It might be the Giants. Aaron Rodgers come out and fuck with us. Who knows, man? I'm open to anything when it comes to the least.
That guy's washed, man. I don't think we have to worry about an Aaron Rodgers or a Wilson Giants-led team. Let's be real. They don't have a lot of options in New York.
Much less fear Russell Wilson. I don't really fear Aaron Rodgers, but if there was one of those just random guys out there that's old right now that could just give you one crazy year, that's too much trauma.
The question is, are the Maras racist enough to buy into the hit out on Shador, or are they the ones putting it out as a smokescreen? Are they racist enough to actually be?
You just can't listen to any of these.
Well, they didn't love the idea of Geno starting for Eli, so you can take that and manipulate that information how you will.
But they also liked the idea of hiring McAdoo, so.
And keeping him for multiple seasons, which I really appreciate because, I'm honestly good for him. Good for him.
Yes, good for him. Oh, last thing, Eagles have done free agency wise, sort of. They trade away Kenny Pickett. I'm surprised they found something.
Oh the Kenny Pickett trade. That might be
that Super Bowl champion Kenny Pickett.
That actually might be an interesting trade for the Eagles there though, because you guys got
more snaps in the Super Bowl than any quarterback I've ever seen for my team.
Yeah, I mean he's the Cleveland Brown. It's incredible, and apparently Russell Wilson's going to follow him, so you just can't get rid of the shadow.
You can't do it, man. But yeah, we got a 5th round pick for him, and then
you did get Dorian Thomas Robinson or whatever his name is.
Yeah, we got him, which is really funny because that is.
I sneaky think that's fun for that offense. If they actually keep him and don't draft somebody, or they keep are they going to keep the other guy?
Tanner McKee, yeah. Tanner McKee is
so I guess he's
expected to be the number 2.
And they'll want to keep the other guy for a third, practice squad guy, which actually he's a great practice squad guy for you guys as well.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Thompson Robinson, that's so funny. Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett's gonna start over fucking Deshaun Watson.
Oh my god, can you imagine?
What a shit show.
Is Deshaun gonna even be on the sidelines next year? Do you guys actually think Watson is even a part of the franchise ever again? In any capacity?
This
Browns contractually he is.
This Browns beat article, they're like, we're really hoping basically Kenny Pickett's gonna do what Sam Darnold did last year.
I would be too if I was them. I would be hoping and praying too.
Jeez.
I don't know. Aim higher, Kurt Warner, Drew Brees. Let's go. Aim higher.
Yeah, I mean, I think that they're being reasonable, and I don't blame them. Don't blame them.
Oh, I forgot about DTR.
Now, a couple of things that'll transition us from the Eagles to the next team. And before we get there, though, I do also have to say that actually no. Looking at my notes, I don't actually have to say anything else. Eagles did lose another player, and this is going to transition us to the Minnesota Vikings, who signed Isaiah Rodgers.
Oh, I thought you were talking about as we were recording.
Oh,
that's impressive.
Yes. So the Minnesota Vikings, one of their bigger, not bigger moves, but one really solid move that they've made here. They steal away what could have been Darius Slay's replacement for a 2-year, $15 million deal, which is not bad for a 27-year-old guy who has decent starting experience and a Super Bowl ring.
Yeah, I would say solid is a good word for all the moves I've seen. I don't know every single player's name that we've signed. I don't know much about.
You've signed some big names, man.
I I don't know much about Theo Jackson. I know he's been here. We brought him back basically. Obviously Aaron Jones coming back, huge for me. I really like him.
Was Ryan Kelly not a Viking before, or has been a
Uh,
Viking? No, he hasn't. He just
maybe?
seems like a guy who's been a Viking.
That's
So
fair.
now he
that
truly is.
that name does sound right.
He's lived up.
We brought we brought Ryan Wright, the punter. We got Bubba Bolden as a
Bubba
free
Bolden.
safety. And then we got some big moves after that. I think Aaron
Oh,
Jones is kind of
yes.
a big-ish move just because the market isn't there right now for running backs, and we got him for not too much. But yeah, so then Jonathan Allen obviously is
Big name.
big
name. And he's
Y'all were
still,
lighting
he's
the
still
load
got it, man.
in that position. That was a good one to
That
get.
is, yeah, up front on both sides of the ball. Like we have, what I've said is the most important part of football. Not very good. So
Yeah,
that's a huge addition.
And not just that, right? Because you get Jonathan Allen, but you also get another former NFC East player, Javon Hargrave.
Javon Hargrave, for sure.
Did not have a great stint with the 49ers, which I'm really happy for. I mean, he got paid, and they didn't get what they paid for, but I've seen Javon Hargrave.
And right now,
the guy's great. The guy
saw,
at his peak, he's great.
What I've seen Brian Flores do the last 2 years, especially 2 years ago, with just nothing, absolutely nothing, and making you look somewhat competent, I have all the faith in the world that with him running the defense, everyone's going to look a little bit better than they might have otherwise. So,
yeah. Now, one thing
we do have a lot of expats running that team.
Yeah. Now, I will say this: you guys lost a big name. You guys lost probably the most important player to the brand, not to your team, to the brand of the team.
Hype king, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, we did. I was wondering when this was going to happen.
Cameron Bynum is gone, and therefore your celebrations going into next season are not going to be good.
That's fine.
Who's getting the celebrations?
If I had to, what?
Who's getting the celebrations now?
Did
he go to Tennessee, Carolina,
Oh
Jacksonville?
no, Cameron Bynum went to the Colts.
He took a bag that doesn't fit our plans, and that's fine. He's been awesome. Filipino American. He's great. I really like him. So I wish him all the best. But we did bring Byron Murphy Jr. back, and I think from a football standpoint, that was the right choice.
100% the right choice on that one. And look, as far as I'm concerned, you guys
could fill in where I don't know what the full plan is, but
yeah. And as far as I'm concerned, you guys pretty much took a step forward on offense. On defense. Maybe took a slight step back at the quarterback position, just in terms of depth. We'll see what happens.
For sure, yeah.
Depth, yeah. Not saying the start. We don't know what
Brian Ripien's not exactly the guy you're hoping. I don't know much about him, but the good news is Kevin O'Connell is the QB whisperer. So
Trey Lance season.
Trey Lance, maybe.
If he wants to come hold a clipboard, he's seen a lot of football from the sidelines. He could really
help out in that department.
He knows what to do on that part.
Now, I'll say this in terms of the offense.
Probably a solid scout team guy.
Yeah, I don't know. We added 2 former Colts for a center and a guard.
Yeah, I don't know much about Will Fries. I've heard he's a good guard.
He's making a lot of money. I think it's like 5 years, $80 million.
And you're getting him like he's 26 years old, young guy out of Penn State. Not the biggest or not the heaviest guard, rather. He's kind of light for a guard, but hey, if he's good, then it doesn't really matter, right?
Yeah, and then Ryan Kelly, he was with the Colts for a while, right?
Oh yeah, he's a career Colt, pretty much.
Yeah, good God, 31. So he's got a little while to go.
Probably
we only have like 4 draft picks, so we kind of got to use those maybe to shore up depth on the lines. I don't really know what the plan is.
Wait, did you say 4 total?
I think so.
That's insane.
Didn't you just did comp picks just got released, right?
Yeah,
I'm sure we'll get one for Darnold.
No, but you won't get it for this year. You'll get it for next year.
Yeah, it's whoever you lost last year.
And matter of fact, based on
3. We were currently slated for 3 draft picks.
What?
Oh, that's
total?
Brutal.
I got the 24th overall, a comp pick in round 3, we could get a choice pick from Cleveland around 5, and then we have our own 5th rounder.
All right, so it looks to me like the Vikings are a prime candidate to trade back in the draft so they can
Yes,
get
absolutely.
I would call that a virtual fucking lock, Caesar.
some. Yeah. So because here's the
Unless-
thing,
Look,
you
hey,
guys
if
are not
Travis
going to get
Hunter,
any.
if Travis
comp picks
Hunter's
next
still
year.
there at 24, they can go ahead and take him.
Okay,
But
yeah,
if
maybe
not-
you don't sit it. Maybe you don't stay at 24, but like they're probably trading back both the other 2 picks for whatever they are.
Look,
They
they're
are they
gonna
both
trade
late?
Yeah.
They got the
And yes, they do.
24th, the 97th, and then 139 maybe, and 160.
They always move back. They'll always justify moving 2 for 1, no matter
Well,
where.
yeah,
it is.
I mean, I'd rather have 2 first rounders than a 24th pick of the draft.
No,
Probably most
even
years,
7th
so.
round, they're still doing it. They're like, no, you don't understand. We have a conditional 7th round pick. You
But
fucking
look,
moron. Don't question me.
There's a lot of pieces here, and we're in that dream scenario that unfortunately the 49ers weren't able to capitalize on with rookie quarterback contracts. So,
Unfortunate.
I mean,
Unfortunate for
you know
that.
what I mean.
Now I'll say this. It looks like you guys will. I don't know how many picks you have next year, but hopefully you have next year. You have draft picks for next
I
year
think it
because
is
you're
a little
definitely
better.
not getting.
We traded a bunch for Dallas Turner, if I remember
Yeah.
correctly.
Yeah, because here's the thing: you're not going to get a single comp pick next season. Just
But don't we
at
get
all.
one for Darnold?
No, you're going to have offsetting because based on
the offsetting ones are. Yeah, that's
Oh,
why
yeah,
they're
because-
even
yeah.
are cowards.
I never really
Because you
thought
look
about
at-
how all that works.
yeah, because you have an $88 million deal for Will Fries, a $51 million. Like you are
Daddy.
not getting anything back for
Daddy, I
Sam
need
Darnold.
my 5th round picks, Daddy.
Yeah, we got a ton of picks. We got
Yeah,
first,
because,
second, third, fourth, fifth.
You
2,
get comp
6,
picks based on
4 7.
basically you if you lose more than you sign and the signs that you do make aren't big time signings, then you will get like 3rd round, 4th round comp
Right,
picks.
right.
Otherwise, you'll probably just get like 5th, 6th rounds. But y'all signed way too many
Most
players
of
this
them,
offseason.
by and large, it's 5th rounders, and most in if you really lose someone big, it's a 4th rounder. You really got to have some special shit happen for it to be a 3rd rounder, though.
But again,
Trust me, I'm an expert at conditional draft picks after 10 years of Stephen Jones, 15 years of Stephen
That's
Jones.
how you grow the pie.
It's how you grow the pie.
But
Yeah,
honestly,
nobody
this
to
team
enjoy.
is
you
this
get more
team
chances
is
to.
kind of built to go out there and try to win it this year. I don't know that on paper they are that team. I think there's routes where the offense.
But Darnold's
is
already
crazy.
gone. I missed
Yes.
that probably. He's
Yeah,
he
I
off?
mean-
Darnold's gone. He went to Seattle.
Yes, he went to Seattle,
Okay.
On to
That
Seattle.
somehow
which
makes
is so
sense.
funny, so fucking funny that they decided to downgrade, and pay their downgrade more. But hey,
Yeah, but he's only on like a 3-year deal there, right?
yeah, he essentially got the updated version of the Baker deal from a few years
yeah,
ago.
I mean I think that's fine for a team that's not planning on competing.
Well, yeah, if you're going to start Sam Darnold with like one decent receiver, no offensive lineman, you definitely don't have any fucking plans.
They have a
to
good
compete.
running back. At least one, right? Kenneth Walker.
Yeah, but he
Charbonnet-
doesn't have
I
a
think
good
Charbonnet is
offensive
Oh,
line.
Charbonnet.
too.
They got 2 really fun guys there.
Yeah, they just don't
Um,
have anybody to block.
But
for.
no, yeah, the Vikings
Screen every play.
the Vikings are basically saying, I guess they're going to be, trading back and trying to get just some depth on the line because otherwise everything else is kind of there if JJ's there. So we'll see what that looks like.
That's a big if, but we'll see what happens in the
Yeah,
draft.
I
and with
would
this
have
one.
to say, even if it is as talented of a team, I would be very, very trepidatious to be trusting them as a
defense-
title winner with a first year
Just the
quarterback.
defense is, well, second year, sir.
Oh no, first year starter. He saw no game action.
Look, this kid could be fucking Tom Brady Jr. I'm not saying he's not. We haven't seen it, but like at this point, that's tough, man. It's tough to believe.
Not a lot of
Yeah.
guys get Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison though, so we'll
It's a
see.
good football team, man.
Yeah.
That's why I
There's
do
parts of
wonder.
it- That's why it just because the NFL, it's football. It's every week is one game. That makes it a little easier to see a path.
Do you
Yeah,
think that? So, do you want to like? How do you feel about the Packer helmet speaking to them like the Green Goblin mask right now?
I don't buy in. It's this. We're gonna have to get into a big philosophical human nature conversation for me to explain why I think it's the dumbest thing. But No.
Well, at this point, it was for a bit. We were forcing it for a bit, but now the destiny has forced it on us. This is just going to keep happening, especially if they don't shore up like
And look,
the other guy with JJ.
well, the way, I mean, seeing how it's been mentioned and where it's coming out, it is obvious. It is what we all know is agent saying, "Hey, other teams, this team really wants my guy."
And it's just a simple attrition game. It's just as simple as there's
And
only
that's-
so many
yeah.
places to go now.
And we'll get this. We'll get to this after. I guess we do Cowboys stuff immediately. But there is this kind of wedge, this block in place of these 3 or maybe 4 quarterbacks, depending on who might cut someone. That everyone's in a stalemate for these last few jobs. So
I still have a sneaky suspicion it's the Niners, the desperate Niners that call him.
didn't they just pay Purdy?
Nope.
Oh,
They have not.
Well, see, but that's the thing. See, I just don't believe in him either way. Even if they get him on a good deal, I think his
But
His run was
anyways,
nice.
The Vikings aren't interested unless he actually did want to just literally come in here and back up JJ. I wouldn't hate that. But because I don't think
I'd
think
rather take my
there's-
chances with him blowing his knee out and I can just move on right middle of the season than him being able to
I don't
just
wanna
continue
pay
to
him-
speak.
I'm not gonna pay him to be a starter, and as a backup, he's just in the room.
I don't know, man.
He's a football genius. Do I want Kanye producing my record? Probably. But do I want the rest of it? Probably
But
not.
do you want him to also make Daft Punk go crazy because of porn? Like you don't necessarily need Aaron Rodgers in the room.
I think in
if
the
I'm taking Aaron
room-
Rodgers on, in fact, I might tell him
From
that
what
he
I
doesn't
can
have to
tell-
practice.
from what I
You
can
can just
tell
show up
in
for the
the-
game.
in the room, guys like what he is about with football. So I'll go with that. But like I said,
Who's
as a
gonna do it?
backup, he won't do that.
Good luck
But I would be
making
okay
him
with that
think
role.
about being a backup.
But
Yeah,
that'll-
he might not be.
That'll probably be all I have so far in the Vikings. I'll let you, if we only draft 3 players, which would be hilarious. I know we're not going to do that way, but I will go all out on a report on each of those 3 guys for you.
I hope that you do that. I think we should still set it at like 5.
That would be
Y'all walk away with just
4
5.
with some extra picks later on.
Yeah. You have to break down the conditions.
Jeez. All right. And then last thing to note, they did lose backup quarterback Daniel Jones to the Colts, who signed a 1-year, $14 million deal to try to compete with Anthony Richardson for that job.
And
the journeyman backup career for Daniel Jones has started officially.
Anthony Richardson has a whole podcast dedicated to slandering him on the major news network. And I don't know if he deserves it or not, but I could argue that nobody in the NFL or in sports deserves whatever Pat McAfee's agenda is right now. But it's like pretty consistent. It's like a political agenda.
It's weird for the Colts to be in that spot.
Exactly. It's so funny, dude. It's so like I want to take this seriously, but I already know Pat McAfee's
we don't know
a
Jim
joke.
Irsay, and maybe Jim Irsay really is that big of a pain in the ass.
Oh no, well he's a drunk. I
100%.
mean, historically, maybe he's clean now and things are better,
right?
huh?
He collects guitars, I believe.
Yeah. Okay. I mean,
I think he's got a rock band.
no, that's Jim Dolan. Maybe
Might be
both of them.
buddy.
What if they both play against each other, or like what if there's a battle of the bands?
A battle of the bands of billionaires.
Mark Zuckerberg's band is definitely winning. He's gonna go the most extreme to try to get the win. He's gonna like fly in guitarists from Romania and shit.
Why Colts owner Jim Irsay refused over $1 billion for his guitars collection?
What? That has to be a planted story.
All right. Well, whatever.
Whatever.
Fuck him.
Anyways, let's move on off of him and on to the Dallas.
Let's
Cowboys,
talk about good
shall we?
ownership. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, yeah. We can talk about the Cowboys.
Yeah, we can talk about the Cowboys, then we can talk about good ownership. All right, so I'm gonna rattle off. They've made a lot of moves. Just
Yeah, I've got them all here. There's like
a lot of big names.
Are you starting with the new ones, the ones that are leaving, or the ones that we kept?
So we're starting with the ones that they have signed and have kept. So we already talked about. We did talk about Oso Digizua re-signing last week, right? All right,
Osa
so we don't
gets
have to
the
talk
big
about that.
payday. We love Osa. More
Yes.
Osa. Good Osa. Good deal too. It was good. It was a good price. Everybody
Especially considering what's happened since then.
yes, he easily could have got the bag, and he didn't give a fuck.
Yeah. So let's start off. I have the top of the list right here. They've agreed to a 1-year, $3 million deal for Javonte Williams, who's replacing Rico Dowdle. All right, Javonte Williams is a solid running back. Not like a star guy by any means, but he is young. Comes out of North Carolina, had some good moments for the Denver Broncos.
Had like an ACL tear or something that stunted his career a bit. From what I understand, I'm not going to pretend like I'm super in depth on it. I like the player as far as price goes. What I really like is I feel like he's more of Tony Pollard had this a little bit, but really Lance Dunbar I felt was the last time we actually had like a guy that was fun out of the backfield. Could do a little bit with the passing game. I don't know if this is Javonte Williams. He's of the Bills. The Deuce. Yeah, I hope the Deuce is a practice squad player.
Well, yeah, no, Javonte Williams in his career, he can do a little bit of receiving out of the backfield. The rookie year, he had 43 catches for 300 yards, a couple of touchdowns. Last season, 52 catches out of the backfield for 346 yards. So he does offer you some versatility in the run and in the pass.
And he's one of the few guys who likely won't get cut. There are a few of these guys who still are on that. Would they even make the roster that you're going to name off? But he is one of the few that feels like he's a lock for the roster, especially now that Dowdle's gone, which I know you get to.
And then we have Robert Jones signing a 1-year deal. He's a guard. Worth up to $4.75 million.
Does he deserve the sign?
No.
Is he a first round pick?
I don't believe he was a first round.
Oh, okay.
I don't think so. He played at Middle Tennessee State. Chances are he was not a first round pick.
Yeah.
They don't produce a lot of those players. Now, with him, he was a player for the Miami Dolphins he played mostly for the Miami Dolphins with some notable injury history.
That's how we like him.
But he's played 2 full seasons. When did we start going to 17 games in 2022? Right. So he essentially has played 2 full seasons twice in his career, and then 2 half seasons in the other part of his career. So
undrafted.
He is an undrafted free agent.
That's kind of cool. So, I respect that.
So he's probably in there to compete for the spot left open by Zach Martin's.
It's a warm body move because they also are going to retain a guy. I don't know if did you keep one of the guards that they retained on your list?
He's not on my list. No.
So Brock Hoffman was re-signed. They like Sam Bass. They both have had decent showings so far. I don't know if they were not in positions where they wanted them to play. They were in positions that they needed them to play last year. So I don't know how invested they are in the long term, but both of those guys will be back. And I would assume are fair, unless obviously draft picks are still pending in this situation, and maybe another free agent or two, but obviously doubtful with this group, or this offense or front office. So yeah, Brock Hoffman is more likely to be, and I think has shown more likely to be one of the guys filling in one of the holes in the offensive line. So good luck to this guy. We also need depth because we lost one of the depth linemen too.
There you go. Now we also have here on the defensive line, going back to the other side of the trenches, I believe a former first round pick, actually.
Yeah, he was like the 2. He was like 2 with San Francisco, and then he was like solid with them, got overpaid by the Jets, and now we're catching him on the back end.
Yeah, the back end of his career. He's still kind of young for somebody who's been in the league for 8 years. He's still in his 20s.
And he's Osa's backup.
Yeah, so
this is nice. He's a rotation guy.
Solomon Thomas has joined the Dallas Cowboys.
And 2-year deal. It's a 2-year deal. They had balls to do a 2-year deal.
That's absolutely a name when you're playing a franchise mode and you're like the next year's draft class that aren't real players anymore. Solomon Thomas.
You don't remember Solomon Thomas being a draft pick? He's like built like a motherfucker. Like people were big on him because he looks like a fucking demigod.
Yeah, so he was the 3rd overall pick in 2017 out of Stanford. And I don't think he never really lived up to what the projections were, but he was always a solid guy. Nothing.
I think he was supposed to be an edge rusher more, like a pass rushing end, Yeah, he's a Capel guy. That's always nice to still get those. But I think the thing is he ended up fitting more of the defensive tackle role than people originally thought when he was drafted. Is kind of what it seems like his career went.
Because you look at him, he's a weird size for both positions. So he's too big to be a defensive end, right? In a traditional, 4-3 or 4-down lineman alignment. He's 6'3", 295. So he's just too heavy for that position to be like a pass rusher. So you're looking at him, you're like, well, he's more of a 3-4 defensive end, but 3-4 doesn't really exist anymore.
That's why he rose his back up.
And so he kind of would now in today's NFL would have to rush from the inside if you play 4-down lineman. And if you play 3-down lineman, well, he's not going to get any pass rush because he's just going to be asked to take up space. And it kind of reflects on his production. He doesn't, in 7 years, he only has 17.5 sacks. So in some sense, he is kind of a bust. In other sense, well, he just kind of became a solid player that you can put on your rotation, you have to be good to be able to play in the league for 7 years, or good enough, right? And especially since he has started.
He's also I believe he's also been a part of like teammate of the year, man of the year stuff.
Yeah, he's got a nonprofit for youth suicide and stuff like that. He's got a lot going on.
So,
and look, I think the Cowboys definitely need to invest in goodwill. Maybe there's other teams that are worse in the modern NFL, but historically, we still have a lot of karma to clean up.
I know Wikipedia is not perfect and definitely lacks some context, but it's confusing. He was born in Chicago, moved to Sydney, Australia when he was 2, lived there for 5 years.
Military brat, probably.
Gap. Now he's in Coppell, Texas.
Yeah, probably something like that. Parents are able to move around maybe with their job. And then, it doesn't surprise me when a top talented kid ends up playing high school football in Texas and never had an affiliation with us prior.
Yeah, I guess I should know people are sending scouts out to kids.
Yeah, I mean Trinity High School taught young me a lot about the real world when it comes to football and the levels of serious that people take it.
And I mean, some of theirs is just built in from, the building of the airport and bringing in a lot of Pacific Islanders to do that, and they all kind of concentrated.
Yep. Oh yeah, I mean, eventually it was smart, but obviously it started in a very strange way. It was like, what are you're. It sounds weird when you explain it to people who don't understand, like don't follow the sport enough to understand people care this much and that there's that much money to be made off of it. I think that's the way I usually feel whenever people are like, wait, so it's like this little small white town in DFW but all their players are Samoan.
They do the haka.
They do the haka. All right. Well, let's continue on with what else the Dallas Cowboys, I was going to say the Mavericks, the Dallas Cowboys have done. They bring in another former first-round pick.
Where's the sign?
Bring it up. Where's the sign? Yeah, former first-rounder Kenneth Murray of the Tennessee Titans.
No. Come on, man. What that one is – Kenneth Murray wasn't even a first-rounder, was he?
Wasn't he not?
I think he was a second-rounder.
There was a linebacker with the last name Murray that was a first-round pick. I swear there was.
Round 1, pick 23.
Okay, there you go. See, I know what I'm talking about. I know ball.
OU.
All right.
I knew that name.
Well, this one I don't think is completely fair because I think this was a smart, like cheap, easy way to try to make an attempt to fix some of these things that they've let go. I was referring to Peyton Turner. I was referring to Peyton Turner was who they signed is the other former first rounder from New Orleans. I don't know jack shit about him otherwise.
Oh, I totally skipped over him, didn't I? But yeah,
that's what I thought you were doing with.
We'll go with Peyton Turner here in a second. But yeah, Kenneth Murray acquired in a trade with the Titans in exchange for a late round pick swap.
Yeah, he didn't give up shit.
Yeah, you don't give up anything, but he's not a good linebacker. And Tennessee
I don't think he's gonna be a linebacker. I from what I understand, this is an attempt at an edge rusher. I don't know how it'll go, but
well, hey, hopefully that works out for him. It worked out for Micah. He was an inside
Maybe it allows.
linebacker.
I mean, maybe it allows. I don't know what Eberflus is doing. He apparently. I don't know how deep into the signings you got, but Eberflus got one of his guys at linebacker too, and he seems more traditional if he is good enough to play.
I don't have that linebacker that you're talking about on this list.
Jack
right here.
Sanborn.
Jack Sanborn. That is
Apparently,
a name
he
that
really came on. He came on pretty strong for the Bears. They ended up tendering him with the restricted, and then Eberflus got him. He could just be a role player, depth guy. May not be anything, but people seem to be at least excited that he adds to a depth room that needs a lot of help. So
yeah, 100%. And then let's go. Let's talk about Peyton Turner, another former first-round draft pick. A 1-year, $3 million deal. So he really doesn't. He's one of those guys that we don't know if he'll actually end up making the team, right?
Yeah, it's definitely not a lock for him. And I love that the first 3 pictures of him look like he couldn't care less about playing football.
Hey man, once you've made it into the league, you've made your millions. What is there to care about?
Millions.
But yeah, the guy is.
Dying.
For all intents and purposes, he is a bust, right? He is 5 career sacks in 4 seasons. Don't love that.
Landry, the Landry hat needs to chill. There was a headline that's like, Cowboys waste their time while Falcons spin on big-time defensive end. And I'm like, who the fuck? Leonard Floyd. Get the fuck out of here, Landry hat. I got too much to be bitching about the Cowboys to not have some dumb shit like Leonard Floyd. Get the fuck out of here. Anyway,
Leonard Floyd in 2025, he cannot be serious.
No, hey, that was a big signing right there. Atlanta just won the Super Bowl. What do you mean?
You're right. You're absolutely right.
League fucked.
Oh yeah. Now, there's not really much to say about Peyton Turner. He's just going to be a body. He's injury prone and hasn't lived up to the first round billing. So that'll be interesting to see what happens with him in that defensive line room, since they did just lose DeMarcus Lawrence to the Seattle Seahawks. Betsy, do you want to go into more?
Chauncey Golston. So you can knock out 2 of the losses and 1 there. Chauncey Golston also went to the Giants, and they got him for a reasonable price. Remember, the Joneses restructured 2 of our most important players, which means they pushed back money. And why do you push back money? So you can spend it. What happens if you don't spend it? You just end up paying it later for no fucking reason. Are the Joneses broke? Is bankruptcy on the way? What's happening? What is this decision making? How is it? Are they that stupid? Are they just losing money? They're just pissing money away for fun?
Well,
is this a social experiment?
The salary cap is spent every year no matter what, right?
No, I mean, I don't think
it's built into the team's budget.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. You're right. Essentially, it does, I guess,
they're spending that money. It makes it way more anyway.
I guess the obvious news is Micah's going to get paid a lot of money soon.
Right. So
this is probably going to make the contract negotiations pretty easy and simple, because they're going to have to put that money somewhere.
Yeah, the way I understand it, right, is so the cap is essentially what your operating budget is on any given season, but then there's the cash, escrow, all like dead money stuff that comes out of not the cap, but comes out of the pockets, like directly out of the team's pockets,
right?
And so who knows? Maybe the Joneses are just like, we want as little money coming in directly out of that
seems 100% to be what's been the plan for 30 years now.
Yeah, as little dead money as possible. So I don't fucking know, man. It's weird the way that they operate. They don't operate like a team that cares about winning, but they will sell you that they care on winning because they're just good enough at drafting.
They will talk a lot. It's funny. I even see Cowboys fans starting to turn anti how good we are at drafting. I'm like, maybe it gets overstated, but like when you compare it to the league, like it's the only reason this team's even afloat right now. Like this is incredible. Like they literally don't bring anybody else in via any other method.
Yeah, they haven't done it in a long time.
For them to have any success, it literally means that they're drafting at least above average. But again, yeah, it doesn't do it.
Y'all are paying Michael Gallup $8.7 million this year, by the way.
Is Zeke's money still? How much is Zeke's money still on the books?
It's not there in dead cap. It might be.
Okay, I
He
think
might
they
be
already paid that
cleared,
off.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that one paid off quickly. Actually, that's why they did it when they did it.
Why they brought him back? Yeah.
Well, yeah, that
There
too.
you go. Now, you
Hey,
could also say,
what if
But
Gallup
hey,
plays? Oh yeah, no, that doesn't matter. in
have we
NBA or in
mentioned
NFL.
you got the whole special teams unit back together? Did I miss
Yeah,
anything?
yeah, no.
oh yeah, we're getting
Trust
to
me.
it.
Sorry.
I will clean up anything he doesn't have. I'm letting him cook though. You
Yeah,
keep going,
no,
please.
we're gonna power through these next three so we can get to the real meat of the Cowboys offseason. So you guys acquire Khair Yilum in a trade with the Bills.
Another former first round pick.
Is he?
I believe that was what I was told, but maybe let me double check.
He doesn't strike me as somebody that was drafted.
I
In
believe the
round.
Bills reached on him late in the first round at one point. Is what I was.
I've got him at 123.
Former first round.
Was that the
pick.
same? Were they both drafted the same pick? That's crazy. Anyway.
All right. He was drafted in what, 2022, 2023, or 2021?
22.
All right, 2022.
Yeah, and so
Wow,
apparently he played all right a little bit last year, and then he got cooked like a motherfucker against the Chiefs. I believe it was the Chiefs game. That they
Steelers.
just
he's
went
been
after
up and
his
down
ass.
as far as I'm aware. His career in Buffalo.
Yeah, there's a lot of taking chances on low value players that won't disrupt your compensation picks, and most of them are former first round picks for sure. That's basically the trend.
He's got 2 playoff interceptions already in his career.
But and he has 2 career interceptions in the regular season. So.
Let's just get to the playoffs first.
He's a playoff performer. That's what he is.
Let's just get to that point.
Wait, did he not play last year at all?
No, he did. He just didn't register an interception.
Yeah, I think last year apparently though he still played all right for most of the season, but again he was literally like the fault in the Kansas City game, from what I understand.
Or they just he's so unknown, no one's added his 2024 career stats to his Wikipedia page.
Oh yeah, I'm
Football
on
Reference.
Yeah, Football Reference, NFL.com, any of those. But yeah, so we have that going on, and then let's talk about what the Cowboys have really done. All right, they did bring back C.J. Goodwin, Marquise Bell. We don't really have to say too much about those guys.
Well, there is so and Wanye Thomas as well. So the hope is that Donovan Wilson doesn't return. Marquise and Wanye Thomas get more opportunity, or they draft somebody that's better. Both of those are really interesting players. They basically stole them for free, and they've panned out in a lot of ways. If anything, Wanye Thomas is CJ Goodwin's replacement as far as the lead special teamer of the future. So that is nice depth, but yeah, they're not sexy players. It's just nice, and if you're a Cowboys fan, you're just really hoping you don't have to watch Donovan Wilson play football again.
With that said, let's move on to what the big deals really were. The Cowboys bring back Trent Sieg, long snapper.
Always the first one.
Oh, yeah. Brian Anger, the punter, on a 2-year deal. And then the cherry on top, Kevontae Turpin gets a 3-year, $18 million deal. Your 2024 special teams unit brings back their aces in the hole. Becky, tell us more about it.
Yeah, so the special teams is cracking me up in a lot of ways, but it's really just highlighting 2 things. They won a bidding war for a punter. That's a fact. You can look that up. Brian Anger there was a bidding war for his services, and the Cowboys overpaid for it.
Was it the Titans?
I don't remember who it was. All I know is there is no more obvious method of being like, I know we're mediocre and I know where to put my investment at from the Jones family. That is incredible. Kevontae Turpin, excellent. I'm excited. It's also enough money to force him into the offense more, and that needed to happen.
And that all depends on what Schottenheimer, if he actually can bring the Cowboys from 1997 into the today and actually move receivers before the ball is snapped.
So I was trying to figure out. So it's Land, Tolbert, and Turpin primarily. You would hope a draft pick, but it's probably not going to be a high draft pick. So it's most likely going to be what's his fuck that we draft. Who do we trade for again? Fuck.
Oh,
big body.
Mingo.
Yeah, Mingo. Big body. So they're probably going to start the season very likely with their best four being Lamb, Tolbert, Turpin, and Big Body. And I don't hate that, but it doesn't fit in order because Big Body isn't good enough to be 1 or 2, and you really kind of need him to be. Tolbert's a hell of a 3, but unfortunately you need him to be a 2. Lamb is a hell of a player all around, but you need him to have some other chemistry with this group. And then Turpin's a lot of fun, but there is some redundancy there when I'm like, can I just get a real big body? This would be an awesome fucking group if there was just like a for real big body next to CD. But I'm like, I got to hope that Jonathan Mingo just tears up the world and, wants to get paid or something.
You don't think Brandon Cooks gets
I don't know. Is Cooks on the roster still? Is he a free agent?
Is going to be a free agent. Yeah, I think he might still technically be there, sort of. I don't really know.
See, but then Cooks, I really don't think makes any sense in this team because, again, we need somebody. We need a big body. We need to stretch the field out a little bit. And Cooks is just – I think Cooks can still play in the NFL, but it's probably going to be
Cooks is a free agent right now. So
okay. I think another team could utilize Cooks better than we could anyway, too, I think Tolbert is good enough to get another opportunity, but I would love for that to be as the 3rd or 4th receiver regularly,
Also, you also have to take into consideration Cooks is
Flournoy, yeah. I mean, I like Flournoy. I do. I actually really like Flournoy. But, yeah, I mean, you're talking about a 6th-round pick who has to show up and end up being, the number 2 or 3 guy? Like, what the fuck are we talking about?
He averages 10.2 yards a catch in the NFL. Sounds like a win to me.
No, and Flournoy is really awesome. Yeah, I mean, he unfortunately his first play was like a fumble and a blowout, but he actually had a pretty solid finish this season for what little they just barely ever gave him time, which I think was the more annoying part of the Mingo trade than the draft pick.
Brevin Spanford?
Oh, that was the dude they tried to turn into a tight end, and no, fuck him. Ferguson will be back. That's cool. Schoonamaker looked useful. That's cool. But tight end isn't really what I'm worried about that much. It's really that receiving, that chemistry receiving. It's like I'm 3/4 to the way of being excited, but that last fourth is quite a big stretch.
DallasCowboys.com doesn't actually list Dak Prescott as even on the team.
Has he been traded?
Cooper Rush is listed as first on the depth chart. Trey Lance second. Is it an injury thing? Probably
the injury thing. It probably hasn't been updated.
Yeah, I guess they are too lazy to update it.
Yeah.
Or they don't pay. Or my guess is actually this isn't a full-time position, and this is just some bullshit interns have to do for free.
Wait, we're still tampering, right? Are these actual contracts? Or are we still?
No, these are actual contracts. The league year has started today. Yeah. So we were in the legal tampering period. Everything that was agreed upon during that time frame is now either official or it's just legal to be like a thing, right? To be like this. A lot of players. They have agreed to, they haven't signed yet, but a lot of the signings are taking place right now. That's why Milton Williams, who initially agreed to go to the Carolina Panthers, was able to change his mind and go to the New England Patriots.
Oh, I didn't even see the reports. I didn't see that. We can finish on Cowboys stuff so you can move to the other stuff. Jordan Lewis, we lose the swag on defense. We lose an awesome player. Somebody, honestly, I wouldn't even have been mad if they overpaid him. But to keep him would have been an overpay. They do need to be more serious about the future at the corner position. That's going to mean a little bit more of evaluating Diggs' long-term future here. It's going to be about Bland's long-term future. All of those things need to be good. And I think relying on little Jordan Lewis to handle, our dirty laundry was awesome. And I always appreciate him for it. But it was time for this team to grow up and be more responsible themselves. So I'd like for a younger player to step up or whatever it's going to take. And then Dowdle gets to go home for a pretty decent little 1-year contract to be a backup, I guess, or to be a co-star with Juba.
I'm going to assume that he's going to be a backup.
I figure like that's probably a system where you get. They're probably going to want to run the ball as much as possible to make that offense still tick while it's getting talented.
Yeah, because they still have. They have 2 guys. They would have 2 guys ahead of the depth chart. Ahead of him on the depth chart. Texas guy who can't stay healthy.
Oh, right. Well, so yeah, then Dowdle's insurance to that, and he's probably third on this depth chart, even if he is healthy, because they're so cautious about his history. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. And yeah, so we'll move off of that, and now we're just gonna go rapid fire here to finish off some of the big names, or some of the names you might be familiar with that have either stayed or have re-signed with or signed somewhere else. So Ronnie Stanley, and I'm going based off NFL.com's 101 top free agents. We're not going to go over all 101, obviously. We're just going to go through some of the big names, and then we're going to go over the names that are still.
I need 5 minutes on each.
How about a couple seconds? That's enough, right? Right, ladies?
500 minutes. It's a long time. That's almost 10 hours.
Yeah, no, we're good. Now, we got Milton Williams, who was ranked number 1. We already talked about him going to the New England Patriots. Ronnie Stanley of the Baltimore Ravens stays with the Baltimore Ravens on a 3-year, $60 million deal. Probably will finish his career up with the Ravens, as he is 31 years old, will be 34, 35 by the end of that contract. Sam Darnold, the 4th ranked free agent on this list, signed 3 years, $100.5 million deal with the Seattle Seahawks to be their starter as they transition to, I don't know what kind of team.
55 guaranteed, correct?
Yep, 55 guaranteed. So the guy got paid off of 1 year of production. Hey, you can't be mad at a bag chaser. You can't be mad, Seahawks fans, that they probably got duped off that 1 year. But hey, you're just gonna have to live with it. No,
yeah, I mean, at worst, you got to write it out for 1 year and then you push it down the line or something.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, the bulk of the guarantees come in year 1, with $37.5 million. So that they probably
it's kind of a prove it. Like if he does better, they might restructure, add more to it. Like if he can win a playoff game or something. But
yeah, they're just gonna hope that he doesn't look the way that he did those last 2 weeks for the Vikings.
That was tough football.
Oh my god!
I
got a tweet. I got a tweet for whenever you announce Joey Bosa.
I don't even think he's on the list, but you know what?
Damn,
let's go ahead.
That bad?
Yeah, man.
Okay. Yeah, somebody said that Trump now has positioned one of his super soldiers right across the border from Canada.
Oh yeah, because he signed with the Bills, right?
He's trying to climb up the falls.
His super soldier can't stay healthy and has been not good for a couple years.
Who tricked me into thinking he was signing in San Francisco?
I think you did, sir. You were definitely.
I meant who? Someone reported that. I saw it.
I'm sure there's speculation that they would consider it.
Wasn't even. No, it was like he is going to sign there. It was before the tampering opened.
Oh, there is a Sports Illustrated article by Tom Dyerberger, who sorry if I mispronounced your name, guy.
Okay.
Yeah, apparently it's not happening. Let's see. I guess it's the Bills just outbid them or some shit. I'm not sure. I'll send this link to this to you so you can read it later. But yeah, he's not very important to the overall landscape of the NFL anymore.
See, I didn't even realize. I knew he hadn't been good. I didn't realize he fell off like that.
Oh yeah, man. He just couldn't stay healthy.
Yeah. Fuck.
Yeah. So speaking of an
I had more fun
player,
now that we know history. I had more fun with Zeke. Same result.
There you go. All right, Chris Godwin re-signs with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. All right, he signed for a pretty big penny, man. So 3 years, $6 million, $44 million guaranteed at signing for the 29-year-old wide receiver. Hey, I shout out to him for being able to convince them to re-sign him to that big of a deal, coming off a pretty bad ankle injury and an ACL tear. So, hey man, Bucks. I guess if you're a lifelong Buck, it pays to stay home.
Rappaport said Godwin left $20 million on the table to stay with the Bucks.
Damn,
who was going to offer him another year is what I want to know. Because I'm assuming that's what that means, is that he left $20 million because somebody was like, hey, we'll add another year to there. I don't know.
Looks like a lot of people were guessing it would have been New England if anyone actually was offering him money.
We got a free
yeah,
agent.
but why would you want to go to New England?
We got a funny free agent.
Uh-oh.
What happened?
Mac Jones is now the backup / potentially starting quarterback of the San Francisco 49ers.
That's hilarious.
And
you know what's great about
might
that?
have said Minnesota Vikings. So
all right, so here,
no, not that juicy. I would have much bigger reaction to that one.
So I want to
talk me into it.
I want to turn the dial back to that draft class, the 2021.
Oh no,
draft class.
Gone.
Because, gentlemen, there was serious reports out there that Kyle Shanahan was really considering drafting Mac Jones with the 3rd overall pick. Had to be talked out of it so they could get Trey Lance. And it turns out both guys just can't cut it as starters in this league right now. So, hey, as Kyle Shanahan finally gets his guy in the building, just many years later, and too much film to show that the guy shouldn't be a starting quarterback in the NFL.
Rico Dowdle signing with the Panthers.
Yes.
Did I miss that earlier?
Yeah.
Yes, you did.
Oh, I thought that was new.
No.
Well, it was newer. It happened earlier today.
Yeah. All right. Moving on. Travarius Ward leaves the San Francisco 49ers to go to the Indianapolis Colts.
I was really hoping we would have spent. That was the one player I was hoping, because he started with us. I was like, come on, make up the mistake. Come on, it'll be fun. Come on.
Yeah.
Obviously, you know what.
Yes. Now, DJ Reed will be playing for the Detroit Lions.
Oh, that's nice.
So good for him. I can't see I don't see the numbers reported, but I'm sure it's a pretty penny. Funny enough, Davante Adams, 32-year-old guy, is going to the Los Angeles Rams, who are cutting 32-year-old Cooper Kupp, who I could argue has had a better career than Davante Adams. You could I don't have the numbers right in front of me, but I feel like Cooper Kupp got spammed a lot and put up some great seasons that Davante Adams
he was on a way better team than Davante Adams.
Well, not always. Cooper Kupp's been around for quite a bit. I want to say. Cooper Kupp was he on the last? Was he the last St. Louis Ram?
No. Hell
right?
That was
no. So no, he joined the Rams in their second season in Los Angeles. So close.
2017,
Yeah, but I mean, you look at it. Let me see. I'm gonna compare their numbers. Or actually, Patrick, can you go on Pro Football Reference and just compare their numbers? See if I'm not just blowing smoke up my own ass.
My argument there would just be Kupp might have better numbers just because he's been on more competent offenses, but
he hasn't always been the number one receiver in LA though. Whereas Davante Adams, I feel like was the number one receiver for quite some time in Green Bay, and then of course with the Raiders for a little bit. But yeah, just compare, because I know that Davante Adams has been in the league at least 3 years or more longer than Cooper Kupp. That I can for sure confidently say. So the numbers might be in his favor, but you go just based on the 7-year track. If you can find that for me, that'd be great. But yeah, the Los Angeles Rams replaced 130 plus. Yeah, you put up 130-year-old plus wide receiver, or you cut one to bring in another. It's really funny that they would do that. And especially since the deal for Adams seems pretty high, considering his age profile, and he hasn't looked great the last couple of seasons. So there is that. All right. We've already talked about...
Real quick, if we go off of just the dumbest stat possible, which is the approximate value that Pro Football Reference uses, Davante Adams, last couple years, 8-2, 2's bad. 10, 10, 14, 15, 16. Cooper Kupp, 6, 7, 8, 18, 796. So Cup had one really high year, a couple of good years. Devontae Adams had some crazy years. But again, yeah. If you want to look at actual like yards, Cooper Cup last few years 710, 737, 812. You had the wild year where he had just under 2,000. Then the year before that was only 974, 1161. Devontae Adams yards pretty bad the last couple of years. Okay, this is confusing. 2024 is listed over a span here. Okay. 1063, 1144. So Devontae Adams yards are significantly higher.
All right, never mind. It just feels like Cooper Cup. I guess I'm just basing it off that one monster season that he had.
Yeah, I mean, 1,900 yards. Adams hasn't gotten above. He's hit 1,500 twice. He's just more consistent.
Heard that. All right. Well, let's move on then. Amari Cooper still available out there.
He's memed himself. He's earned that.
True. All right. You have Dre Greenlaw, who is coming off an Achilles tear. I don't think he played a single down last season. Goes to the Broncos. You have Nick Bolton. No, not Nick Bolton. We're not going to talk about Nick Bolton. Hassan Reddick. Hassan Reddick goes to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers after a huge contract dispute with the New York Jets.
Big chillin' last year.
Oh, yeah. Big chillin'. He was in Japan during the start of the season. That was so funny. Reddick signs for 1 year, $14 million, 12 of which is guaranteed. So mostly guaranteed contract there. Now, here is the biggest QB move at the moment. That's not Sam Darnold.
Brian
and that
Trask.
is just, huh? No.
The Bucks brought their backup quarterback.
No, that's not. No, that's not fake news. All right. Justin Fields goes to a dumpster fire, cementing that his career is now in dumpster fire territory because he's going to the Jets on a 2-year, $40 million deal, $30 million guaranteed. This is essentially a prove it deal. What's going to be a 1-year prove it deal, but for 1 year, man, that's a pretty penny. So Justin Fields, good luck to you in that dumpster fire of a franchise. Maybe Aaron Glenn helps turn it around and helps turn your career around. Who knows? Let's move on. Khalil Mack, that's a name that we all know, is re-signing with the Los Angeles Chargers. That's kind of a big deal considering his age profile, 34, considering where they're at. They're kind of a rebuilding franchise. Seems like he's kind of given up on the idea of ring chasing and decided to go bag chasing. Hey, can't blame a guy for doing that. Respect. Justin Reed also doing bag chasing. Signing with the Saints. Weird, because the Saints don't have room to sign people, but I guess they can sign him somehow.
They're trying to go bankrupt, bro. I
guess so. I don't know how the Benson family has any money to sign this guy, but I guess they do. So there is that. We've already talked about Javon Hargrave. We've talked about a couple of these guys. So yeah, we're going to go ahead. Last couple names that are pretty big. Chase Young. It's essentially a poor man's Jadeveon Clowney. Resigns with the Saints for 3 years, $51 million deal. God, that guy could have been so good. And
don't ever try to have a mid-off with the Saints. They're gonna get you.
They will get you. That team is destined for 7-10, baby, or 6-11. And if they're feeling real spicy, 8-9. Talanoa Hufanga leaves the 49ers, goes to the Broncos. Had an all-pro season his second year in the league. Hasn't really had a great last year or two due to injuries. And just his play style is a little reckless, so there is that. Hollywood Brown will stay a Kansas City Chief because they will be losing DeAndre Hopkins to the Ravens, so it makes sense that they re-sign him.
Oh, Washed Farm.
Yep. And then we briefly mentioned this, but Tank Lawrence is leaving the Cowboys, joining the Seahawks on a pretty big deal, honestly, for a guy who's 33 years old, been in the league quite a while.
Love that for him, but yeah, I mean that doesn't. It just, I'm pretty shocked. I would say more than anything. Like,
Yeah, man.
I didn't think anybody was going to offer him that kind of money. I honestly don't. I wouldn't be surprised if the Cowboys thought that they were about to have to just pay him something simple and for a 1 year and have him back easy.
Yeah, man. I'm surprised he got that money at that age. He has a lot of mileage because he doesn't really miss games, and
The
then when
one
he
thing
does, it's pretty big
I'll give
injuries.
them credit for is if they are trying to reboot, rebuild, whatever you want to call it. It's a good, just like Jordan Lewis, it's a great investment in your locker room. If you have the extra money to spend, it's honestly still why maybe I would advocate for Jerry to have kept both, because it's like, what else are you going to do with the money? But of course, that goes into different territory where you're talking about annoying things. So, like, reasonably, I don't hate the move. I am very surprised by it.
Now we're gonna name a few big names that are still available. Not really gonna go too deep into why they're still available or anything like that. Just keep an eye out. This is definitely players that you'll see in the second wave of free agency. So you have Amari Cooper, who's still available. Asante Samuel Jr.
No, he doesn't fit Bruce's system. I already found that out.
Stephon Diggs is still available. Calais Campbell, almost 40 years old.
I'm
not
available.
And listen,
I'm desperate.
He's still a good player, even at his age and how long.
Any defensive lineman at this point would be great.
Oh yeah. Speaking of which, you have Azeez Ojulari still available. Now, Azeez Ojulari has not been
Tom Haverford.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, Azeez Ojulari not been great coming out of Georgia. He came from that vaunted Georgia defense and just hasn't produced.
Is he a former first-round pick?
Yes, sir. I believe so.
Well, what are you doing, Jerry? What are you waiting on?
Well, he's also a former Giant, so he probably doesn't want to
get
touch
that 1 year $5 million. Get that 1 year $4 million deal in. Call it in.
Because he had a really good rookie season, 8 sacks. Last year in 11 games played, he had 6. Just can't seem to stay healthy. And he is a bit of an undersized guy listed at 240 pounds.
True?
I don't even care if it is, but I think okay. I mean, yeah, it probably
$6 million.
I don't know who it would be.
I don't know. But yeah, moving forward though, we still have Eagles Super Bowl winning right guard and former Jets left tackle Mekhi Becton still out there looking for a big payday. I'm surprised he hasn't been signed, honestly, because he played really, really well. Essentially got his career back on track. Big mauler in the run game, and he's still available. So we'll see what happens with him. The guard market is kind of fucked right now, so I'm sure people don't want to pay him because they still look at that Jets tenure as not great. Jameis Winston still available. So if you need a high-level backup quarterback and a great guy to throw out there in front of a microphone, what are you waiting for? Go get him.
Minnesota.
Yeah. Oh, he would be great in Minnesota to just, if J.J. McCarthy struggles out there, just throw Jameis Winston. He's going to be exciting. He might stress you out, Patrick, but, he's going to be so fun.
I'm willing to commit to the Vikings if they get Jameis Winston, and as soon as the demise of the Dallas Cowboys takes place, I think I could work my way into that 1 year temporary visa into the fandom.
That would be great. Russell Wilson's still available. Don't imagine that he has a lot of shooters. I imagine he's looking at the Giants, and that's about it. And then Dante Fowler, a former
still
Cowboy.
Paying him?
Yeah.
Probably, yes.
Oh yeah. They're going to be paying him for a minute.
Hilarious.
And yeah, I believe those are the biggest names that are still available. I believe Justin Simmons already signed, if I'm not mistaken. Darius Smith is still out there. Stephon Gilmore, Roswell Douglas, and yeah,
$6 million must be right because that's what Everson Griffin got.
Yeah,
and I can't imagine anyone else got more than him.
And
up through 2021,
the all-washed receiver list: Keenan Allen and Cooper Kupp as well. So if you need veteran receivers to just take snaps out there, yeah, he's out there. He's out there. Oh, and so is Nick Chubb. I forgot. Nick Chubb is a free agent. Don't know if he'll ever play the same brand of football that he was in his prime, but
all the bargain bin. I need
Yeah,
the whole bargain bin to just come to Frisco first, and then the rest of the league can have them after us.
there you
All
go.
the bargain bin, everybody, bring them on. Barbecue
Woo.
for everybody.
Whew. All right. Well, that's all that I got for free agency, y'all. This is also the last football segment for the next 2 weeks, at least courtesy of me. You can expect Bethke and Patrick to hold the fort down as I am in Japan, getting lost, watching baseball, and drinking on the
Drinking
streets of
sake.
Tokyo.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's open container in Tokyo, so I'm going to pretend I'm 22 again.
And if you do anything too, against the morals, you know the custom, and you gotta win in Rome. Oops, sorry, I stepped on your toe. I must commit seppuku.
Well, on that racist note,
Wait, I can make things more racist. That was a great time for you to cut us off right there.
There probably would have been. I had to think if I had anything else, but I don't think I do. Go football.
Go football. Go racism. No, don't go racism.